Hey guys, I am so
Hey.
sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties, but I guess, it happens to all of us.
It
So, how
does.
are you guys doing?
Worth the wait.
You guys doing okay?
Doing good, doing good. Hey everybody, I'm Tonya, Thrifty Treasures here on YouTube.
Introduce myself since we're all discombobulated. Who doesn't know me? Jen Picker here on YouTube and sell on eBay as well as, of course, an antique booth.
And I'm Tam, the host. So anyway, guys, I've got some pretty good topics today that I thought we would talk about. What are 3 items that you've put in your booth that have sold really fast? Like something that you would pick up again, I guess, like a Bolo item. Jen, how about you?
Ooh, I don't know. I guess I get to a point where I have a lot of my tried and true stuff. Really even this time of year, I would just say the things that sell. Of course, fabric is good. I'm doing really good on my plants still. I'm not sure if that's, that does not really affect it seasonally. Anything, this time of year related, of course, we have our restocking day on Tuesday. That's when the store is closed and us vendors are able to go in and restock. So that's when all my fall stuff is going to go out.
Okay. Tonya, how about you? Something that you pick up that's, be on the lookout for.
Right. Well, I've been doing really well with small pieces of furniture, like small coffee tables. I sold a little sewing table the other day. Those kind that you open them and then they expand like this, and they're different levels of shelves. You know what I'm talking about? Have you guys ever seen them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I paid like
cool.
$10 for it at Goodwill. No, maybe even $7.99. I sold it for like $50.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I do really well with mirrors. I feel like mirrors, whenever I put a mirror in my booth, they sell really quick. And I didn't write a third one. I didn't know you were going to ask for 3. But yeah. Just
Okay. Well, mine, I guess, is, of course, Coach purses. They sell really well for me. Earrings sell pretty good. Not any other jewelry, just earrings. I sell those pretty regularly. And what's another thing? I guess as far as here recently with fall coming up, I've made some fall bows.
bows.
Bows. Like people will get them, like if they need to like redo a wreath or something like that, they'll buy a bow for that. Or if they need them for like, outside for their lights outside or something like that. I've sold probably in the past couple weeks, I've probably sold about 8. So.
Oh, wow. What kind of price do you put on them?
I do $5.99.
Okay.
And they're pretty good size. I usually spend the ribbon is usually about, if you get it at Hobby Lobby, you get it like 50% off. You can get it sometimes for like $5. And if I use like 3 different colors, then I can usually get about 3 or 4 bows out of, each roll.
Yeah, and that's a great tip to buy it whenever it's on sale. But
Yep.
even when it isn't on sale, you can at least get 1 roll of it 40% off, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, anybody who's been watching my videos, I've been picking up ribbon, a lot of ribbon at garage sales. And the last bunch I got, they were brand new rolls, and they were a dime. So I literally got a bag full for like $1. So,
Nice.
so I told my sister, get busy, start making those. So I missed, how much did you say you're asking for them? Because we haven't decided our pricing on those yet.
For the bows,
Yeah.
$5.99.
Okay.
And that's pretty reasonable. Like I've been to.
How big are they?
They're pretty good size. I'm going to say probably like this big.
Like a dinner plate?
Yeah,
think?
probably something like that.
Okay. Good. We'll keep that in mind because I'm going to get a whip and make sure she gets those started.
Are you guys talking about bows? Is that
Yeah.
what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Bows as big as a plate?
Yeah.
Like hair bows?
No, bows for like you put on a wreath or.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, like to decorate with.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been making those for years. Of course, I made wreaths. I used to make wreaths, and so I learned how to make bows, and don't really much do the wreaths anymore, but I do make the bows and put those in my booth. So, let's see.
You're really
here.
good at making the bows.
Let's see. Okay, so something else I want to talk about was fall items. I know that we're all three in different parts of, the United States. So when do you start stocking your fall items? Jen, why don't you go ahead?
What was that again? I'm sorry, you broke up.
Your fall items.
Oh, I've been collecting fall. Oh, yeah. What I said before is this coming Tuesday, we usually have restock. It's a good time for us to refresh our booth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good time to put out not only seasonal items, but if you have like a huge furniture or a large display piece you want to move or change up, that's the time to do it, because it's so hard to do that when the store's open. So we're very thankful that our mall does that. They're open from like 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. So that gives you a chance to really move stuff around, interrupting customer, shopping in your, because if they see you in there, a lot of times I'll step out, or if, they see you moving something, they'll just keep walking. So
Right.
You don't want to disrupt that. But I've been collecting stuff over the summer, and ever since last, a good 2-3 boxes, big plastic boxes. So probably over the weekend, I'm going to have to pull all that out and clean it up and price it and get it ready to go out.
So you haven't started stocking fall yet in your booth?
Nope, I haven't yet. I was in another antique mall, the one I used to be in, last Thursday, and they have a lot, and especially since the weather turned cold for a couple days here, I'm like, oh no, it feels like fall.
Right.
So what about you,
Yeah.
Tonya? When do you start stocking your fall items?
Oh my gosh, I have been so bad lately, and I am really going to commit to getting those bins together and putting stuff in, seasonal stuff in there going forward. I really need to do that, because like I've seen y'all's booths, like I watch your videos, and you guys are so organized. Like mine looks like such a junky garage sale.
It doesn't.
It does, but y'all's booths are, especially, I just watched Jen's, the one that she did. Her stuff is so organized. I can't believe it. Like,
it's no matter if you go in there and you like totally do it to a certain specs, it does after a while get away from you, because people move stuff around, things start selling. So you do have that, then it starts to get really mishmashy,
yes, I
and
know.
you just have to in there and just move stuff around and get it organized again. I know it takes time.
It does take time, and you guys are really committed to that. Like usually when I go to my booth, I've got, my daughter with me, and we're in a hurry, and I'm just like unpacking stuff, throwing it on the shelf, and we're out of there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we don't really have a time that the booth closes, the mall closes, to where the dealers can go up there and do stuff like that. I mean, not that I'm aware of, and at least I don't think that they do.
Yeah.
So,
do you have do they open like an extra hour in the morning before customers or before the store opens?
not that I'm aware of. I mean, I guess I'll have to ask. I've been there a long time, so it's been a while since I've asked anything like that. And I've never done anything like that, but that would be good to know for sure. Because when I am moving stuff around, I'm always having to deal with customers. And of course, if they walk by and they're stopping, they're looking at your booth, you feel obligated to say, would you like to come in? And really in my booth, there's just enough room for one person to walk in. So I need to walk out. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's why I think go ahead, Tim.
I'll tell you, we've had a couple of the vendors ask Judy, the mall owner, if there would be a time that they would be able to be open, that we could come and restock our booths. And she actually has started, I think it's twice a month on Thursdays. She will stay open because usually we're open from 10 to 6, but every other Thursday she'll stay open until 8. So from 6 to 8, vendors can come in and work their booths. She still stays open to the public, but she doesn't advertise that we're open. So that way, you know, if people do happen to come in, we can still make sales, but then there's not really a whole lot. So that way vendors can get in there and kind of work their booths and stuff. And I think it's worked out really, really well. A lot of the vendors, I think, really like it.
Yeah. And speaking of Judy, she's here in the chat. Hi, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Hey.
So I started stocking my fall stuff probably the end of August, right around the time I started back. And what I did was I just kind of went and asked Judy. I said, hey, you know, when do people start stocking fall? And it was right around that time. And she said, right now. She said, we've had some people come in and ask, you know, about fall items. So.
And does fall include Halloween too? Or are you holding off on that?
With some vendors, yeah, some vendors have started putting Halloween in. I didn't at the start, but as I've started selling some stuff, I've started to add a few, you know, Halloween items. I added a Halloween mask that I've already sold. So,
what kind of mask was it?
It was really ugly. I got it last year, and it's like this really old looking guy with like this scruffy beard, and he's got like a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's got a hat on, and it's awful.
That is
so
such
ugly.
a good idea. Like, I would have never thought to be looking for a mask to put in the antique booth.
Well, actually, I got it last year, and my husband found it, and he never did use it. So I said, I'm going to sell that. And what I did was I put it on the top part of my mannequin, so it looked like a head on my mannequin.
Oh, gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, fall items. So that's good. So you're going to start with yours, Tonya?
Yeah, definitely. I have some stuff around the house, like some of my old fall stuff that I'll probably get rid of just because, you know, after so many years, you get tired of looking at the same stuff over and over.
Right.
And want to get new stuff. So I think I'll probably put some of my fall stuff in there. Probably this weekend we'll go. But yeah, and I'll try to put it all. Do you guys put it all in one little section, or do you like spread it out everywhere?
I spread mine out.
Okay.
What do you do, Jen?
With mine, I have that 25 by 25 inch metal, and then it has the glass shelves, and that's like my prime area where we put seasonal items. And then on the two sides, I have our shutters, and I usually clear that off so I'm able to hang signs and other things that need to be hung up. So it's kind of more in the front half of the booth, I would say. And as soon as I do that, I'll make sure I do a video after everything's put in, because I like to put up as soon as everything's in and it looks nice. I'll do the fall booth tour and put that up.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see your fall booth tour.
I know, right?
You know, I've been collecting. I put it away. It's like all new. When I pull it out, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or wow, look at that. So, yeah.
Okay, so next, I thought we'd talk a little bit about shoplifting. Have either of you ever caught someone shoplifting?
Oh gosh, no, I've never caught anyone in the act.
How about you, Jen?
I think part of our mall policy is, you know, that we have vendors that are working. So part of going around and helping customers, that also deters theft. To, hi, how are you? Can I take that up front for you? Is there anything you're looking for? Because if somebody is of the mind of stealing, they don't want you to talk questions. They don't want you to hover. So in giving good customer service, that also a lot of times.
That's really smart.
So does either of your antique malls have any kind of policy that if you were to catch someone shoplifting, what you should do?
Gosh, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable approaching someone and saying something.
Well, I mean, like what I mean, like, is if you saw somebody shoplifting, do they have a policy that says, okay, if you find somebody that you think is shoplifting, you need to tell us? Is there some kind of policy or, you know, thing that you should go by as far as if you were to see somebody that was shoplifting?
I don't know if we have a policy. If I saw somebody doing it, I might, let them know for sure at the front desk, like on my way out or something. Let them know, what the person looks like or whatnot.
Yeah. How about you, Jen?
Yeah, and I'm ashamed to say this, but we actually had an annual meeting and we had a police officer come in, and I was not legally, there's only certain things you're allowed to do. So that would, if you don't know what your policy is for your mall, you should ask the owners, because, that could be a dangerous situation, if you approach someone.
Yeah.
We have had people, we do have cameras in our store. We've had people, mainly the ones that we know about or know at the time it happens is we have a vendor who has locked cases. He has coins and other, expensive. People have come in and jimmied it open and like literally ran out. Each time that's happened, except for recently, that person's been caught because they're stealing in other areas. They're on the radar of the police anyway because of the certain things they're taking. But just the last time that happened, this vendor lost like $400 worth of merchandise.
Oh,
so I'm not sure if he, if you can work with an insurance, do that. I mean, a lot of the stuff I have is very, expensive. I've talked to people about theft. Oh, if you have jewelry in little bags, people are going to steal it. People are going to steal. That's all there is to it.
Right.
It's sad to say. And it's not even little things. We have had sofa-sized paintings stolen. And the only reason is because the person walking out with it is just walking like they have the confidence to walk out. They're not running. They're not sneaking. So vendors are like, oh, I guess that's sold. It's not registering. The stealing would be so bold just to walk out with a huge painting.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have it in place that if you see someone coming out, we have a greeter that when you come in, we speak to you. When you're leaving, they can see the register. There's a certain amount you can do, and there's a certain you cannot prevent it. So
Yeah, I like the idea of, finding out what the policy is in your area, in your mall, as far as, having the police officer come in. That was very interesting to know that they would do that. That's really cool.
Right. We had a question in the chat earlier from Tracy. She said, when do you put your Christmas stuff out? I've been hoarding it and want it out of my house. But I noticed that Judy answered her, and Judy said that she starts putting Christmas out at the end of Halloween. I think that's a really good idea, a good time to put it out.
Yeah, that's usually I think that's when I did last year, was I started putting it out right around Halloween, maybe a day or two before or after.
So I'm taking notes.
Now, see, if I put my fall stuff out and it's selling at a really good pace and it's dwindling, I may get to a point where I'll just kind of put that in a certain area and then bring out the winter stuff, because, if it's selling, I don't put it out as early as Walmart does, but yeah, as soon as it starts, if it starts dwindling, if I don't do it at this certain date, if it's selling skinny looking, then condense it to one area and bring in your next season.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Any other questions in the chat? Tanya's keeping the chat for me because we had a little bit of technical difficulties at the beginning, so she's watching my chat for me. So if we have any questions, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat, and we'll try to answer them if we can.
Yes,
let's see here. Next thing, let's talk about summer sales. This past year, how have your all's summer sales been this year compared to, say, last year or years past? Have they been better or worse or about average? Tonya, how about you?
I feel like mine have been a little bit better. I've really been trying to put more stuff out there in the booth, so I feel like I've been making a little bit more money. The past few months, definitely, for sure. And like I said, I've been experimenting with the little pieces of furniture, like little side end tables, little coffee tables, and that's the sewing table, just unique small pieces of furniture. Like, and even like small chairs too. I bought one for $10 at the Savers in Austin over the summer, and that also sold for $50 this past month. So, I mean, you guys have got to start experimenting with the small furniture.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in our mall. We have, it used to be an old store. So in the back where you would have just like a cement floor and a, like stocking area or gallery. And each vendor is, they have a place to hang up large pictures too. So each vendor can put one piece of furniture or one set of furniture and something to hang up for each vendor. So that really helps. Actually, the mall will take 10%. So I'm already doing that with my stuff.
Right.
Doing the 10%. So they just do the 10%.
That's
so
really nice.
I keep an eye on what's back there, and as soon as it sells, I try it immediately, because that's, I think the criteria is it has to be a total of 80 inches or more. So in height, width, and measurements, and it has to be a certain size. So, my sister and I, sometimes she'll have more stuff to go out than me, so she'll number. So we're always trying to make sure we have something back there, because we have that, advantage. We want to make sure that we're, using that.
Yeah, definitely. Our antique mall, they used to do that. They haven't. And I think they must have stopped that right about the time that I got there. I don't know why they don't do it anymore, but it sure would have been nice, because I come across awesome pieces of furniture for next to nothing, if not free, all the time. So.
Yeah, and you were asking about summer sales. My summer sales this year have been better than they've ever been, and I'm not sure why that is. And I don't know if it's just, it was a really hot summer, so people are looking to go air conditioned. But my numbers have been awesome. And talking about that 10%, I'm going to be making a change starting in October that I'm actually going to pay like an extra $45 in rent and have them not take that 10% out. So I talked with the owner and the manager at my store and said, how much would it be if I just paid and you didn't take a percentage? And she said, for a single booth, it's about, if you're making more than $500 a month, about 500, then that's kind of the breaking point where you're losing money or you're giving extra money to the mall. So I think I've been doing that for a while. My sales have been above that. So I'm thinking I'm going to probably, for the fourth quarter, go ahead and, pay that higher rent and then get that 10% back. So.
Yeah, because you're going to do good for fourth quarter.
Yep.
Yep. And actually,
summer scale
for me
too. Yeah, check that out. Yeah.
All right. Very good. So this summer's been pretty good with all three of us. So that's good. Okay. So the last thing I have is how do you determine, and this is gets kind of a little bit into eBay and Poshmark. I know that Tonya and Jen, you've both been selling on eBay for a long time. I am new to eBay. But I'm just wondering, how do you all determine when you're out thrifting what you sell on eBay and what's going to go to your booth? Tonya, how about you?
Well, I tell you, for me, it has a lot to do with what it's made of, right? So if it's made of glass, chances are I'm probably going to put it in the booth. Unless it's, pretty small, then I might put it on eBay or whatnot. But yeah. And then, like I said, also the furniture, I'm not going to sell that on eBay. So that would go to the booth. And then also, if it's not selling on one platform, like online, I might take it from online and take it to the booth. I mean, wherever I can move it, is where I want it to be. So I'm trying not to hang on to things for so long anymore. I really want to just move things and flip them pretty quick.
Yeah, that's good. Good advice. How about you, Jen?
Thing certainly is something that makes you make up your mind really quick when
All right.
you have something and you're, oh, to ship this, it's gonna be a nightmare. Also, when I bring stuff home, I kind of know certain things that just sell better on eBay that would not sell for the same price. I don't necessarily theme my booth. I mean, I have things I like to sell and that kind of thing, but there are things that could go either way. And if I'm a little behind on listing on eBay, like I am now, then I think I'll just take it out there and, you know, put it out
Yeah,
and
me
see how
too.
it does. Yeah, and if it's, or I even had something in a video I just recently did that I was like, I really want this. I thought, you know what? I priced it a little high. If it's out there in a couple months, then I'll bring it home. It can be mine. So, you know, you do this thing where you kind of, you know, decide a lot of times where you have room for it. I know my
Yeah.
just absolutely packed right now
Mhm.
where I go out and I stuff around and when I'm done, I'm still holding something. And I'm like, this is, you know,
Right.
you
Oh, I
take something down,
know.
put something up and you're not putting anything out. So when you come out and there's a space, you're like, oh, I could put something there. So, you know, it's wherever it'll fit at the moment seems to be a big indicator too.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and as far as me, like I said, I'm kind of new to eBay. So I recently come into a lot of glassware. And when I first brought it home, my husband said, "What are you going to do with all that glassware?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to try to sell it." So I have sold some glassware on eBay, some vintage pieces. But as far as me determining, like with clothes and stuff, I pretty much kind of know, because being selling on Poshmark for a little while now, I kind of, you know what would go good on Poshmark and what would be better for my antique booth. As far as like eBay, like I said, I'm new to eBay, so I haven't really got in that experience yet. But so far, I'm pretty happy with my sales on eBay. I don't have a whole lot listed, but I have made sales, so that's good.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been experimenting. This is totally off topic, but when things don't sell and they've been sitting in my store forever, I'm like, well, I must have it priced too high or something. And I'll just go nuts and send like a bunch of stuff to online auction. And that's what I did last night. I sent like about 20 something things to online auction, just starting at $9.99. And I don't even care. I just want to get rid of it and go get some new stuff. So
Yep, I know that. But when you've had something for so long and you're like, oh, I just want to get rid of this so I can put something else in there, or so I know what you mean.
right. And that's exactly why
Yeah,
I always
I
do
had,
one off.
yeah. See, with my booth, we rarely ever put like a sale on everything. I only do it if it's a big store promotion, that kind of thing, because I kind of price to sell. My prices are a little bit lower than else. Yeah, I guess you could say. When I recently went out to the place I used to be at, I actually bought some items to resell in my space. For out there is crazy low. What I can get for the same type of items. They had a cute little plant stand that the top was metal and it looked like a pop can, but it's just like a galvanized top. And I bought them, two of them, for $6. And in my space, I can get 18 to 20 for each of those. So I mean, I can shop that mall and bring it home and sell it in my space. And I used to never be able to get those prices when I was there because of the location, and it's crazy to me that that I'm doing so well where I'm at now, that I'm able to mall. I mean, that's almost something. Once in a while, I pick up something at the mall and sell it on eBay, but never one place to another. So I'm pretty happy with that too.
Yeah, I had a I bought a purse on Poshmark and flipped it in my antique booth.
Did you really?
I did.
That's awesome.
I think I got it for like 15 on Poshmark, and I sold it in my antique booth for 38. So that was pretty good.
That is
There are
funny.
actually people that go on eBay and misspell certain words of expensive items to find mistakes. And if you have somebody has a listing and they have it on auction and they have it spelled wrong, nobody finds it. So people will snag that up and then put it out. So
I had that happen to me recently. So I have these Escada belts, and I had listed them, a bunch of them, and I guess I was in a hurry, and I didn't catch that my Mac had or something had auto corrected to say escape instead of Escada.
oh
Yeah, so I only got one bid on that, so but it's okay. Yeah, but it does happen,
yep.
right? Got to slow
That's true.
down. Don't be in such a big hurry.
Oh my
So Tonya,
gosh, that auto
do you have any questions in the chat?
We do. We have one from Bianca. Bianca asked, how expensive is it to have a booth where you live? My booth is pretty cheap, but I've also been there for a few years. So I feel like I'm kind of, what's the word? Like grandfathered in at that price. So as a matter of fact, not too long ago, one of the owners told me, she was like, your rent is so cheap. I was like, oh, I hope you don't raise it. But they've never raised it on me, so that's awesome. I really appreciate that. So they've been really good to me.
And my booth rental is $100 a month.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Jen?
I guess I'm the most expensive then. My booth is 10 by 10, and right now it's 100, and that includes I pay a little extra a month for electricity. I pay a small fee for them to collect sales tax and take care of that. I also pay 3% for credit cards. I'm sure you guys do that too. And a month. So I'm probably going to be paying about 200, little over 200 if I do the increase and then, scratch the percentage. But the sales are really really good. We've won several awards through newspapers, the best of the best and the top antique malls. And so, I mean, the mall itself is doing spectacular. So I understand that, things are going to cost a little more. It was about the same as where I used to be. And anal retentive, but I'll tell the story anyway. When I was debating moving from one to the other, I figured out how much rent was per hour, because where I'm at now, they're open an extra day and they're open an extra hour a day. So I'm like, well, I got to compare these so it makes sense, going from one to the other. It literally ended up being pennies, for a few pennies more. Or people would say, oh, the rent's more. Well, yeah, they're open more. So I had to really weigh that out before we decided. But being here, 100 square feet space, and now I have 100 square foot space in the new where I'm at now, and I'm making, double what I used to. So location of the mall has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So mine is $90 a month, so almost 100. And then we have a question from Nesting Haven. They asked, do you guys have a hard time picking up things that is your own personal style and being able to sell it? So when that happens to me, a lot of times I might keep it.
I was going to say, does she mean keeping it?
Yeah. So I'll keep it for maybe 2 or 3 months, and then I'll start feeling guilty, and I'm like over it, and then I'll sell it. So I do that a lot.
Yeah, even if you keep the item for a couple of months, because you're like, wow, I really like this. And after a while, you're like, nah, I'm not so in love with it.
Right.
You don't feel bad getting rid of it, and you make money, but you send it for free.
Yeah.
But as far as the other question, do you have a hard time? Like, do you pick out specifically stuff that is just your style? I branch out and do different colors, or maybe items that I'm not necessarily attracted to myself. But I think it's very true that you could probably look at our spaces. Most of the vendors in my mall, you could pick it out and say that's their booth and that's their booth, because it has their personality, that feeling, their style. So I think that's very true. It's just a natural way to pick up stuff you like.
Exactly.
Yeah. And when I actually started my antique booth, I was picking up mainly stuff that was, that was my personal style. And then I started kind of branching out and saying, hey, there's people out there that are buying that are not my style. So I need to branch out and try to pick up some things that are maybe what someone else would like, but not necessarily what I like.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then we have another question from a Purple Lily. That's Lydia. She asked, for today, will Jen's sister Kim be joining the show anytime soon?
I don't know if I could twist her arm to do that. She usually works during, if she's at work, she is at different places, so she can sometimes tune in. I didn't see her in the chat today, but a lot of times, she's just really, she is so busy with her kids, and she's got so much going on. I mean, by the time I see her, like today I go out, I see her, and then we go out and have dinner. That's like our Wednesday thing. She just looks so frazzled. She just comes in and sits like, you poor thing. So yeah, she's got a lot going on. I'll invite her. I'll see if she wants to.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys have a really good relationship.
Yeah, that is good.
We've gotten really close over the last few years, especially with my mom passing away over a year ago now. So we're this now, and it's awesome to have that relationship with her. She's my best buddy.
Aww.
Other than Mr. Punchy Picker, of course.
Right. You better not forget him.
He's watching. I gotta say that.
Exactly.
I know. I gotta.
So do we have any other questions, Tonya?
I did not see any other questions. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll be sure and catch them.
I see a comment by Paris Romero. It says Fat Finger's website to find misfit eBay. Is that a thing?
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I didn't I must have read that wrong the first time.
That's a real thing. Huh.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Mr. Pudgy Picker says, I'm watching.
Uh-oh. Okay. Whew. I'm good. I keep in videos, and I'm going to ask you about your husband's too, but he just does not want to be in a video. I'm like, well, just pop in and we'll do this or that. And he's like, no, that's your thing. You do it. I don't want to do that. So damn, I know your husband does a couple videos, but how hard is it to get him to participate?
Yeah, he's done a few with me in the past. I don't think he's exactly crazy about it, but he will do it. So
yeah, my husband Kurt's done some with me too.
See, Mr. Pudgy Picker, we gotta do the unveiling. I've been on YouTube for 5 years,
Right. I've got another question from Tracy. She says, do you feel sales are stronger in the fourth quarter for booths? It's my first year. And I say definitely yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that too.
People are totally justified in their spending, so they're ready to shop.
Yep. As soon as fall starts back, sales are,
Christmas sales. Yeah.
all the way through Christmas, and usually after Christmas.
You know what? Even my January and February is usually pretty good because I think a lot of people get money for gifts.
Yeah.
So they're looking to spend.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, and I mean, if you want to buy a new iPhone for somebody, you can go on Amazon or anywhere else. But if you want a really unique item and something different or something from somebody's childhood or a collectible item, some people will never want to shop. You can't completely shop online. For groceries, you can. For commodity items, you can. For that kind of stuff, I mean, people our stores are experiences. They're not just go in, pick up your milk and eggs and go home. It is a feeling, it's an experience, and that's, what gets people in the door.
Yeah.
Another question from Jules.
Mr. Pudgy Finger says, no thanks, I'm not camera friendly. Yes, he is. He's adorable.
So Jules asked, what are your thoughts on your go-to items? I think she means like bread and butter items, maybe? What about you, Tammy?
Mine are, of course, you know, purses. I sell a lot of purses in my antique booth. So I always try to pick those up whenever I can. Actually, I had someone purchase one for me at a garage sale. This one right here.
Oh, very nice.
And it's just one of the mini handbags. But the inside of it was real dirty. And so actually I just did a video before we went on here on how to clean.
I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, how to clean purses. So yeah, that's definitely I always try to pick up purses whenever I can.
What about you, Jen?
Oh, everybody's probably sick of me talking about fabric. But I tell you, it is a bread and butter item for me. It is something consistently I sell probably between $50 to $75 a paycheck.
Wow.
So I mean, it is something I carry. I carry it all the time. I'm always bringing in new. So I have people who are constantly buying it. They come in specifically because they know I carry it. A few other vendors, if they come, they'll have a few pieces in their booth, but nothing to the extent that I do. And for the amount of space that it takes up, it really does earn its keep, certainly. So that's one thing that I can say is, man, it's so tried, it's true. My plants have been doing good. I've been buying my bamboo off of Amazon, like 38 to 40 pieces, and sales, thrift stores. I find little cute containers, pop them in there with some rocks from the dollar store, and I've been selling them. I was selling them for 12, and I kind of lowered the price down, so I'm at 10, but I'm making a decent amount on every one of those. That's my two plants and the fabric.
So I have questions because both of those items, I've tried selling the plants. I didn't do too well with them. I'm curious to know how many stalks you put in a plant. Like how many stems?
Yeah. Usually I put two.
Two?
I don't usually do one because it looks kind of plain by itself. Yeah. And there's just, you know, people say you're not supposed to do that's an unlucky number, but I think two is good. And I kind of stagger them so one's a little bit taller than the other to give a little bit of interest.
Oh, that's
I've had a few. Yeah, I've had a few that look like three little vases together that will hold one each. So, you know, I'll put in how many ever, but they do really well. My booth is not anywhere near, it's near the front, gets no natural sunlight. They do perfect. They're growing and thriving in just regular, you know, store lights. Just keep them watered every week. I'm in there. I just make sure the roots are covered with water and thrive.
What kind of water are you using again? You're using the distilled?
Yeah, as long as it's bottled water, if it's purified, you know, the gallon you can get and put it in a small one. I have that in the booth. I usually have one. I have it tucked around the corner of something so I could just pull it out and make sure all those are full. And I just have a little sign on them, you know, make sure that you used, you know, filtered or bottled water. And great. I mean, I can't kill them. They're hardy. It's, you know.
Right. And then I had a question about the fabric, and I know I've probably asked you this before and you've done a video on it, I know, but what do you usually price it at, like per yard?
I price mine $3. Yeah, $3. I have a little, I write it down so I won't forget. So down to this many inches is a quarter yard. This many inches is a fourth of a yard. You know, I have it all listed out and then how much it is. So I measure it out, and if it's 2 1/4, I just look at my list and I figure it out real quick. Fabric, I might go a little bit higher. You know, if it comes to maybe $9, I'll go up to, you know, 10 or 12 or something. But $3 a yard, and I get it so cheap. I buy it everywhere, you know, thrift stores, auctions. I got a ton. I'm still whittling away at all the fabric that I bought year and a half ago.
I was going to ask
So
if you had any of that fabric left.
I probably, you know, the milk crates, I probably have 5 of those. And then as I see stuff, I just kind of pick it up. And I have my fabric lady that I see every Monday, and she got a ton of stuff. She goes straight back to it. And I keep telling myself, I'm not gonna race back there because I have so much I still have to get rid of. I'm gonna start racing her back there again. But she got a ton of it. In fact, I saw her and I said, "If you can't find me, I'll take it." And she just laughed. So she's like, "Yeah, right."
So Thelma asked, what do you look for in fabrics? Like, what do you look for whenever you're looking to put them in your booth?
What sells best for me is cotton and cotton blends. People use those for projects or quilting or whatever. I don't get anything knit, stretchy usually, unless it's something with a little bit of sparkle or something. But usually I just get cotton and cotton blends. If it's particularly old or really interesting, I make sure I do my research, and I do sell some fabric on eBay. I just sold 4 yards of Lily Pulitzer fabric on eBay for about $100.
Wow.
So yeah, if you do get some and you do look along the edge and it has writing on it, look that up because they're looking for. And if it's very vintage and very ugly, or very like 60s or 70s, that automatic.
Okay, yeah. Yesterday on the Resellers too, Trish was talking about some fabric that she had sold for some really good money. I forget the name. I think it was Alexander something or another. But yeah, and then we have some more questions.
I remember that was with the guys with the surfboards.
Oh yeah, the Hawaiian things, yeah.
And yeah, I saw that and I thought, I don't recognize that name, but I definitely would have snagged that up because it was really unique.
Definitely. Let's see, Jill asked, oh no, wait, Bianca asked, do all of you have a booth with totally different interior styles, or has someone a booth with a specific style?
I'm sorry, Tonya, I didn't hear the question. It was going back and forth between you and Jen.
Okay, so do you all have a booth with totally different interior styles, or has someone a booth with a specific style? I don't think I have a specific style. Mine's just kind of like a hodgepodge of everything, really. Is that what you mean, Bianca?
Yeah, see, that makes me think of certain booths. I have one booth that's very like old style Paris, feminine, lacy, you know,
shabby
girly
chic
stuff. Yeah. And then we have some booths that have that primitive, you know, like the darker burgundies and darker blues and greens. And when you walk by that booth, when you look, it's like, wow, that looks really cool. But for me personally, if you're not into that style, people will just keep walking. I like to have a variety of stuff. I mean, I've had people on my videos say my booth is more girlified because I'm a girl. So
and we
I kind of like. Yeah, I lean toward that. But as far as a certain style, a certain color, a certain theme, I really try not to do that. You'll eliminate a lot of people who really, if they aren't into that, they just keep walking.
Definitely. And now I kind of get what you mean, because like at our mall, there's like certain people who just sell license plates, certain people who just sell vinyl records. And yeah, we got primitive stuff and shabby chic. So, but yeah, I don't think any of us have specific styles. What do you think, Tammy?
No, I don't really have a specific style in my booth. There are people in my antique mall that do have that, and you know, but I'm kind of like Jen. I want to make sure that I appeal to different people.
Get them in the door. Yeah.
Different kinds of items. So I think that really helps with your sales when you diversify like that.
Okay. So Jill asked, can you use bamboo you harvest from the riverbank? I have tons of it here in New York.
Wow, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, I would say, why don't you bring some in and clean it up and put it in a pot with some rock with some water and see if it does well for you, then why not? Free is free, man. That's my favorite price. You know how I am with free.
Exactly. Listen, it has been raining here in Houston like crazy, you guys. And my airplane plants, my spider plants, they're going crazy. I have so many shoot offs right now. So I'm thinking instead of ordering some more bamboo right now, maybe I'll experiment with the airplane plants. So what about that, Jen? Do you just use one, or do you put two in yours? Are you still doing those?
The air plants, there's different kinds. If it's kind of a thicker, it's not real wispy. The wispy ones they will die if you turn your back on them. They need probably a spritz of water every day or every other day. I can't be there that often. There are air plants that seem to be a little thicker, and I think they retain water a little bit better. So I think those are probably a better bet. They're selling in my booth. I have bought like the glass bulbs that are hanging up and put there. And then I have like a spritz bottle that I got that I put purified water, and I give it 4 or 5 squirts each week when I'm there. But the real wispy ones, they just can't. I can't be out there enough.
Are they sometimes called airplane plants, or am I saying it wrong? I'm gonna have to take a picture. Have you seen my plants? Haven't I showed you guys before?
Mm-mm.
I'll have to take a picture and show y'all. But yeah, I feel like mine are real hardy, and I feel like they're really hard to kill. So we might be talking about different ones.
Well, the air plants, there's so many different varieties. And there's one, they just look almost like a little puffball, and each individual leaves are so thin that I just think they dry out so much quicker. And especially I think in the winter or even in the summer when you got air blowing in the building, it just dries them up so fast.
Yeah. Okay, so Adam asked, how do I find local auctions? Is there a particular website that is better than others? Local auctions.
Always go to auctionzip.com. It'll have a place in there for you to put your zip code and then how many miles you're willing to go around that zip code. And then it'll bring up a calendar, and it has ones that are online as well we go to. So that would be the best place to start there. Even if I travel, like when my sister and I went to Columbus a couple months ago, we just looked in there and found one, 15 minutes away, and just popped over there and picked up some stuff. So it's a really good website, auctionzip.com.
Let me write that down. Like I have so much time to do something else.
I like how somebody says apparently air plants need more than air. My husband said that too. I'm like, everything needs water. If it's alive, it needs it. So
they need love too. You got to talk to them.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, why? I yell at him, why are you dying?
I don't think we have any more questions. I think that was it.
Any more questions?
Jen and I were talking about trying to get the show back on track and doing it on the first Wednesday of every month, like we started out. Does that sound good to you, Tammy?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I don't know if you'll want me to host anymore after today.
No, don't beat yourself up about that. It happens. So we were talking about October the 3rd. That's the first Wednesday of next month. And Jen is going to host.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
That works for me, October 3rd.
Yeah, and then I'll host in November and the first Wednesday. So that way everybody kind of knows when to expect us. I'm always on the first Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central and 12 o'clock y'all's time, right? What is that?
Yep, that
Eastern.
sounds good.
Eastern, yeah.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way, Tam. You're really good at reselling. We can't be good at the technology in every other aspect of this business.
That is exactly.
I mean, we gotta, not be so good somewhere. Yeah,
And plus, I've only gone live one time, so I'm not real experienced with that yet. Tonya goes live all the time, or she has in the past. So
Yeah, not lately.
Yeah, a couple times just to get myself back. I say I'm going to do it every time we talk, and I'm like, I just have to get on here and, just go and just talk. And
Yeah, it's fun to interact with everyone on the chat when you're live like that.
yeah, it is. I did like that. Whenever I did go live, I did like interacting with people in the chat. That was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, especially if you have questions like about what you have, like with the jewelry and whatnot. And people, the viewers can help you figure out what you have.
Right.
They have with me in the past.
for as much as people have learned from me, I've learned a ton from people commenting on my videos. It's just crazy. People say, "Oh, I know exactly what that is." It's really helpful.
Yeah, it is. And I've been like here recently, a few of my videos, I've asked people, what, if you all know what any of this is, please let me know. Or, I always like when people comment and, give their feedback if they know what something is. It's just so.
Yes.
Well,
guys, if we don't have any more questions, I guess we'll go ahead and hop off.
Yeah. So I haven't done any research when I do that. So, when people pop in, it's like, yeah, I did figure out, but love the input.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I guess we'll leave for now and be back the first Wednesday of
October.
Yep. And that will be on Jen's channel.
Fourth quarter. Maybe we'll talk about fourth quarter stuff.
All right. Woohoo.
Sounds good.
That works.
All right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, then I guess we'll see you guys later.
Bye. Thanks for joining us in the chat, you guys. Bye.
Thanks for being understanding.